What's going on, people? Moments ago, I was literally just talking about like collaborational type shoes or whatever, when things get together, like one brand and some other brand, and they make some little baby of sorts, right? The last one was an Asics pair. This one is obviously not, right? So, side of the box is somewhere on here that shows you all the stuff about the shoe. But I kind of feel like from seeing this side of it, you probably already know what you're getting into. That and also that the shoe is right up here and there's been thumbnails and titles. Either way, some people like to see that stuff for some odd reason. But either way, so here's the thing. I don't really know anything about, what is it, This Is Never That, other than it has something to do with South Korea, right? So good on them for having some kind of other brand out there that seems to be getting people's attention, because that's always good, right? But past that, I don't have anything to say about them because I don't follow that. So this whole video or whatever, that's as much information as you're getting out of me on it. If you want more information, you should probably watch somebody who's a little better at doing this than I am, which is like not hard to find. So there is that. ACS Sneakers, definitely like him. He's the one who caused me to buy these actually, because he got them early and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And luckily, like, not all the sales had actually happened yet, so I was able to get a pair. So again, his video, you should definitely watch that one. If you want to leave now and just go watch his, I get it. It's fine. I would probably do the same thing. But either way, so this right here is the New Balance 2002R in the This Is Never That colorway. Yes, I know there's some other name to it. I don't remember what that was. Again, I'm not always the greatest at doing this here thing. I just talk about things as I see them because I'm very much a casual sort of buyer. I just spend a little bit more money than the casual person, right? I think we can agree on that. Anyways, let's go ahead and knock this thing out so it doesn't get drug out all day. Down there on the bottom, what you're looking at down there, it could be the same standard outsole you see on all these 2002Rs. I don't know, but the one thing I do know is that I like the color combination. I'm a big gray and navy blue sort of guy. Big fan of it. Moving along up here to the upper, you don't have as much as what I like about the midsole, or I like about the outsole, but on the midsole here, it's pretty much just your plain. Got a lot of white, a little bit of the gray, the blue back there. It's fine though. It's got a lot of design stuff going on, so that's something. I don't know what N or G means, but it's a New Balance thing. I'm not a big New Balance guy. I've only got like 3 or 4 pairs or something like that. Eventually, hopefully I'll have enough to make their own playlist and whatnot, because I think I usually top out around 10 before I like start letting things branch out on their own. And if I recall correctly, I probably need about 4 to 5 more pair before I can do that. Anyways, other stuff aside, because it doesn't much matter, let's talk about these here real quick, right? So I'm going to slip some pictures in here so that way you can kind of see some stuff from a different angle than you've already seen it, unless you've been paying close attention, in which case they're probably not super different than what you've seen already. But they do at least help you kind of complete the picture in your mind as far as what you might think about them, at least by giving you some overview shots, right? Now you still need to kind of see some up close type things or whatever to get your full opinion, and that's where the rest of the video kind of comes in, right? So let's go ahead and do the rest of the video. This down here, right around the toe box, we're going to start down there. You got a lot of suede type of stuff going on. It could be nubuck, I don't know. But it doesn't have as much of that color change thing in there, so I'm not really going to touch on that a whole lot through the rest of this, but it's fine, right? On top of that, you got the mesh sort of thing going on here, right? And you've also got that kind of bleeding over to the back end area just behind that. And that's split up between there with this little dark navy blue sort of leather piece going on. So it's kind of a cool touch, right? And so moving on past that over to the middle-ish section, right? You got the N for New Balance, in case you didn't know, that's what that's there for. And then on the outskirts of it, you got more of that same sort of material that you had on the front piece. And then down here in the middle, you got something that's more, I guess that part's more suede-ish than anything, because it's kind of like fuzzy in a way, you know what I'm saying? So you got that in the middle. And so there's mostly that for that piece of it. Moving back just a little bit, down here along the bottom, you got more of the same thing you had on the front, right? Making up the lower piece around the heel. Again, nice quality, nothing amazing that I'm gonna like run out and tell everybody all about, but I like it. Because it doesn't quite compare to like those, like, was it like the made in England ones that I have, whatever. Where these were made, I don't really remember, but I feel like at some point in this video, there will probably be a picture that will have said where these were made. So pay attention. Either way, Past that though, above all that stuff, I mean, you got a little bit of blue there like you had on the front, but above that, you have this whole cracked piece going on. It doesn't feel as weird as it looks, It feels fine. It feels softer than one might think, or at least how I thought, but it's an interesting look. I do kind of like it a little bit though. And so while we're there, let's move around on to the back, right? So on the back area, very much the same as what you probably expected. You got the little New Balance thing at the bottom and all that stuff. Got more of that cracked piece up at the top, so that's something. And in case you're curious, there is a little bit of 3M throughout the shoe. Let's just think about that because I'm looking at the back. And there is just a little piece on the front too, which you probably saw earlier. You'll probably assume that's what you saw earlier, I should say. So that's a lot of the outside of this here particular shoe. So let's go ahead and jump back over to the front piece, do some lacing stuff. So these laces here, they're pretty nice, right? They're nothing amazing, because they are just laces, but they're soft. I like that. And then on the tips, you got the whole "This Is Never That" thing on there. I'm thinking that's the same on both of them. Yeah, it's the same on both of them. This is never that. So you got that happening. And the one thing that I will say while I'm thinking about it and all, so I'm a big fan of wearing my shoes kind of like that, right? Where like the laces are tucked in because I don't want them just flopping all around. But on these, the one thing that I notice is because of this whole cracked piece of the tongue up here, when you're putting the laces in or pulling them out, whatever, you can just like hear this tearing up your laces, which I'm not a huge fan of, Had a similar issue with a pair of, I think it was like the ZX8000 Aquas or something. But it's something to think about if you're one of those people like me, that this tongue here is going to be kind of fighting against you just a little bit. But either way, that tongue is there. It does kind of have that same cool look that I was talking about earlier, right? And this here New Balance piece got a nice little texture to it. And then below that, looking at the rest of the tongue and stuff, it's going to be that same mesh that you saw on the bottom pieces, right? So moving on. On the inside, each one has the same sort of insole. So it just says NB, This Is Never That, right? It's kind of a nice green sort of color. Not sure why they went with that, but I do like it. And then as far as the actual inside of the shoe feels, it's kind of nice. This here sock liner. I don't know what to really compare it to or whatever, but it is cool. And it kind of matches up with what you're going to see on the back of the tongue as well. So I like that. And one thing to mention, only because I'm looking at it, the tongue here, those perforations and whatnot, those go all the way out through the toe piece or whatever. So in case you were curious about that, now you don't have to be. But that's pretty much that, right? So I think we've covered everything as far as like visuals and such goes. So I'm going to hit you with some personal thoughts, and then I'll wrap it up with all the sizing, comfort, and ramblings. Cool? These right here are pretty alright. I was very much on the fence at first, So I was like, I do like them, but how much work is it going to be to try and get these? Because they're like, sometimes those collaborational things are not easy to come by, right? And I don't like to have to put a lot of effort in. But I put my raffles out there, and I forget who it was. It might have been Well Gosh or something. I don't know. Somebody decided that I was good enough to get through, and so now we have them. Again, thanks to ACS Sneakers for letting me know that these even existed. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. And so looking at them now, right, I'm like, yeah, these are exactly what I expected them to be as far as like quality of the materials and like the look and all that good stuff goes. So I can say that like the money that these cost, whatever that amount may have been, I'm cool with it. I would, if it was like crazy high, I'd probably remember that and be like, I don't know. But since I don't remember, it must not have been terrible, right? I should probably start paying attention though. Either way, I look at these and I think, yeah, this is pretty all right. I haven't bought a pair of shoes in this colorway in a while, not since some up-tempos. So, but these definitely more wearable, in my opinion, right? So can't say I wear them a lot, but I do look forward to the times that I will break them out. Because these, again, it's just got a nice streamlined look, at least in my opinion. Yours may vary, but hey, you can talk about your opinion in your video, right? Or in the comments. Either way, I kind of think that's really about enough out of me as far as the ramblings about how I like these and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do now is that piece about the sizing and the comfort and all that nonsense, right? So, sizing, comfort, right? Sizing first. I went true to size on these because that tends to work out for me on pretty much everything. And this worked out just fine here. Sometimes New Balances can feel a little big. These, I don't have that feeling with them, right? They fit just like I expected them to fit, so I'm cool with that. Now, the comfort of them and all that good stuff, walking around in them, I don't think they're anything amazing. I really don't. But they are also not billed as anything amazing, at least not from what I've seen. Do I think that they'll be fine to wear all day? Of course, yeah, they're definitely good for that, I would say. But I think part of it is because I had just done that Kayano 14 review or whatever, or walking around in those before this. So, it's just one is better than the other, right? And it's like the other one, not this one. But I will still say that if you buy these and you're just going to be walking around in them, doing your daily errands or whatever, I don't see your feet being mad about it, right? I'm just saying that there's some other things that are as good or better. So don't run out and buy these for the comfort. Run out and get them because they look cool, right? Because you'll at least have that. And given like the whole breathability thing with all the mesh and stuff, that's a pretty nice feature as well, right? Because again, you want your feet to feel kind of cool, not all like in some sort of oven, right? Because some shoes give you that feel. This one doesn't. So I like it a lot. And they're fairly light, right? Which is a good thing because you don't want anything really weighing you down and all that good stuff. So all things considered, overall, yeah, I'm cool with these from top to bottom, inside to outside. No complaints out of me, which is not common in the review world, I will say that. But I don't think there's a whole lot else to really get into about these because, it's pretty straightforward, right? So we're just going to leave it at that, and I'm going to move on to the next review because that's the thing that I have to do right now so I can get these things done. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Again, I don't know when all this stuff's going to get out to the internet, but whatever. You'll probably see my quarterly pickup video before you see these. There's a good chance of it anyway. And if that's the case, then you'll know what videos you have to look forward to and which ones you can skip. Whatever. Later, people.